The phone buzzed once on the kitchen counter. A single innocuous vibration that sliced through the quiet like a scalpel. I was elbow-deep in soapy water, scrubbing the lasagna pan from the dinner Sarah had barely touched, when the screen lit up with a name I hadn't seen in years. Alex. My hands stilled. Water dripped from my fingers in slow, deliberate plops. She'd sworn, hand on heart, eyes glassy with what I'd mistaken for sincerity, that she'd deleted his number after we married. Yet there it was, glowing like a coal in the dark. Miss you. Same place. I dried my hands on the dish towel, the one with tiny embroidered lemons she'd picked out on our honeymoon in Sorrento, and stared at the preview until the screen dimmed. My pulse thudded in my ears, a dull underwater roar. 5 years of mortgage payments, of her head on my chest during thunderstorms, of whispered I love yous that tasted like truth. Could they all hinge on one unread message? I told myself it was nothing. A wrong number. A ghost from her past stirring for no reason. But my thumb hovered, then pressed. The thread unfolded like a wound. Months of texts, late-night voice notes, heart emojis that mocked the ring on her finger. You still make me laugh like no one else. Remember the lake house? Tell him you're at yoga. Each line was a splinter driven deeper. I scrolled until my vision blurred, until the kitchen tilted and the floor felt like wet sand. When I reached the photo, a selfie of them in the dim amber light of that bar downtown, her lips pressed to his cheek, his arm slung possessively around her waist, I dropped the phone. It clattered against the tile, screen cracking in a spiderweb that mirrored the fracture in my chest. Sarah came home an hour later, humming under her breath, grocery bags rustling. Hey babe, she called, kicking off her heels. I got that weird imported beer you like. She rounded the corner and stopped. The phone lay between us like evidence. Her gaze flicked from the shattered screen to my face, and something shuddered behind her eyes. Guilt, maybe, or calculation. Jake, she started, voice pitched low, the way she spoke to our dog when he'd chewed a slipper. It's not. Don't. The word scraped out of me, raw and unfamiliar. Don't lie. Not now. She set the bags down slowly, milk carton thudding against the counter. Okay, she said, exhaling through her nose. I won't. Alex and I, we never really ended. Not cleanly. He's part of my history, Jake. You knew that when you married me. History, I repeated. The word tasted metallic. History doesn't send nudes at 2 a.m. History doesn't meet you at the lake house while I'm working doubles to pay for the roof over your head. Her chin lifted, defiant. He understands me. He's known me since we were kids. You want me to erase that because it makes you uncomfortable. I laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Uncomfortable? Sarah, you're sleeping with him. You're planning weekends while I'm pretending your late nights are book club. She crossed her arms, nails digging into her own skin. I love you, Jake. I do. But Alex, he's the fire I lost somewhere along the way. You're safe. Steady. And I need both. The room shrank. The air thickened until I could barely breathe. You need both, I echoed. And what do I need? To smile while you split your heart like it's a timeshare. Her eyes glistened but her jaw stayed set. Deal with it, she said, the words a slap. He'll always be in my life. That's non-negotiable. I stared at her, the woman who'd cried during our wedding vows, who'd traced my scars with reverent fingers and promised forever. The stranger in my kitchen wore her face but spoke with someone else's cruelty. Something inside me calcified, cold and sharp. That night I didn't sleep. I lay beside her, listening to the soft whistle of her breath, and planned. Not with rage, rage is sloppy, but with the precision of a man dismantling a bomb. I started small. Forwarded the entire threat to my work email. Took screenshots. Copied voice notes onto a thumb drive. Then I called in sick the next day and drove to the lake house, 3 hours north, where the pines leaned over the water like conspirators. The cabin was unlocked. Key still under the ceramic frog we'd laughed about years ago. Inside smelled of cedar and sex. Her scarf silk, the one I'd bought her for Christmas, draped over the back of a chair. His cologne lingered in the air, cloying. I found the guest book on the coffee table, pages filled with their initials carved into hearts. I photographed everything. Then I sat on the dock until dusk, skipping stones across the black water, each plunk a question I no longer needed answered. Back home I waited. Sarah grew restless, checking her phone, pacing. You're being weird. she accused over dinner, pushing peas around her plate. Say something. I smiled, the expression foreign on my face. I'm processing, I said. Giving you space to figure out what you really want. Her eyes narrowed. Don't play games, Jake. Who's playing? I asked mildly, and took another bite of chicken. The unraveling began slowly. First, the joint account statements I left on the dresser. Highlighted charges for hotel rooms, lingerie, a couple's massage in Alex's name. Then the printed photos, slipped into her purse like love notes. She confronted me, furious, tear-streaked. You're spying? After I was honest. Honest, I said, tasting the lie. You call betrayal honesty? She packed a bag that night, muttering about needing air. I didn't stop her. Instead, I emailed Alex from a burner account. She's lying to you too. Ask her about the abortion she never told you about. A bluff, but the seed took root. Within days, their texts turned venomous. Accusations, ghosts of old fights. Sarah came home hollow-eyed, begging me to fix it. He thinks I'm using him. Jake, please. Please what? I asked, voice gentle. Pretend I didn't see you choose him over us every chance you got? The final blow came at her company gala. I'd RSVP'd weeks earlier, back when I still believed in second chances. I wore the suit she loved, the one that made her eyes soften. Midway through her toast, something about loyalty and teamwork, I stood. The room hushed. I'd like to propose a different toast, I said, raising my glass. To Sarah, who taught me that love isn't a promise, it's a choice. And to Alex, wherever he is tonight, who helped her make it. I projected the photos onto the screen behind her, lake house, text, the selfie. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Sarah's face drained of color. Champagne flute trembling in her hand. She lunged for the laptop, but security, alerted by an anonymous tip, escorted her out. Her boss called the next day. She was on unpaid leave pending investigation into personal conduct. She showed up at our door at 2 a.m., mascara tracks like war paint. You destroyed me, she whispered, voice shredded. No, I said, blocking the threshold. You destroyed us. I just made sure the world saw the wreckage. She sank to the stoop, sobbing into her hands. For a moment, the old ache flared, muscle memory of loving her. Then I remembered the lake house scarf, the cracked phone screen, the way she'd said deal with it like I was an inconvenience. I closed the door. The divorce papers were simple. She signed without contest, eyes averted. Alex ghosted her. Rumors said he'd taken a job in Seattle. Last I heard, she was couch surfing, posting cryptic quotes about karma on social media. I kept the house, the dog, the lemon dish towel. Some nights I still hear that phone buzz in my dreams. A single vibration that changed everything. Betrayal doesn't always scream. Sometimes it hums quietly in the background. A vibration you feel in your bones long before you see the crack. I learned to listen. And when the crack finally split wide open, I didn't try to glue it back together. I let it break clean.